Okay, so this is the kind of last game that I'm going to be going over, and as you can see, it is the Fairy Tail game that was released back in 2020. It's definitely nice to have an actual full-on game available on all consoles and on PC, instead of just being stuck with mobile games. And yeah, it should be pretty clear that my reason for picking this game as one of my kind of research examples is that well, it's a game based on the series that I'm basing my game off of. So it helps to have an example of a similar kind of idea. Of course, this game is actually kind of going over the actual story of the original anime, and it makes use of the exact same character designs as the anime, so not like what I'm doing with my own designs for the characters. And well, yeah, okay, technically I am using an alternate outfit for Natsu. Usually his outfit is kind of black with orange outlines. It's just I unlocked a custom outfit where the kind of black aspects of his outfit are replaced by a fire design, which is definitely nice looking. But, yeah. This game is probably the most reliable kind of source out of all of the ones that I've selected, because it is basically doing what I want to do, creating, so actually kind of making characters from Fairy Tail playable. And it's, I mean, with this case it's showing what the characters would look like if you actually put them into the game exactly how they would be in the anime. Obviously I can't do that, but I can at least use this as a very kind of reliable example of how I should be aiming to make the characters look. Like right off the bat, you'd be able to see that this game does make use of the inverted hull method with the outline. Although it does seem to have a significantly less, like it has kind of less of a reliance on cell shading. In fact, there's not much cell shading going on at all. In this case, the shading is pretty much all done via the textures. They decided to do it that way. Which, I mean, they still managed to make it work. It still looks pretty good. And they definitely do go into kind of detail with the modeling rather than focusing on the texturing. So like, you got kind of almost like modeled ripples in the clothing, and pretty much every aspect of the outfit has been completely modeled. There's no outfit aspects that have been created purely out of textures. But yeah, it mostly just helps to have a kind of physical kind of example of the objective that I'm trying to achieve, like creating playable Fairy Tail characters. And I'll probably quickly go to a combat location just to actually show the models in action instead of just running around. I do have, this game allows you to have a kind of a team of, I believe, 4 or 5 characters at the same time, so you can have some pretty good fights. But one other kind of noticeable thing is that they did kind of aim to have a slightly more kind of realistic looking environment for the anime characters to run around in. So kind of slightly more realistic looking textures for the environment. while still sticking with the anime aesthetic for the actual characters, but I think they do actually, it kind of looks like they have some sort of potentially cell shading going on with the environment, but obviously the main focus is the characters. And I think you can actually see some cell shading going on with like the underside of the hair. But, yeah, I'll go ahead and initiate a fight, so yeah, get this going. Skip that. Right, so in my team I've got kind of some of the main characters from the series. I've got Natsu, Lucy, Wendy, Gargiel, and Urza. You'll also, the majority of them do have kind of slightly altered outfits, but they are all technically outfits that have been part of the series, just some of them have kind of altered appearances as kind of a bonus feature of the game. Like with Lucy's outfit, this is kind of the main outfit that she has in the series, it's just the kind of leopard pattern parts of it are actually blue in the series. But like with Wendy over there, that's her normal outfit, and Urza's outfit, which we'll get to when we, reach her, is one of the outfits that she does have in the series. It's part of her kind of re-equip abilities, which allows her to change armor sets and weapons. But, yeah, I'll go ahead and use one of Lucy's abilities so that we can do this. I'll use Summon Leo to kind of... This is also going to be showing off the kind of play styles for the characters, which I have included in the pitch presentation. So, yeah, Lucy is what I would consider a kind of puppet character, in the sense that she can summon other creatures to... Well, in this case she summons spirits, which tend to have human forms, that help her in battle. Like, this one summons Leo the Lion, the celestial spirit. And yep, I completely forgot I kind of overpowered. So kind of just destroyed all of them. What I could probably do is make use of the kind of large-scale hunt feature, where you can kind of summon an absolute ton of opponents to fight, and they're all kind of max level for this. Yeah, so this is literally going to bring forth an absolute ton of enemies. And this is also actually going to allow me to show off some of the kind of model alterations that you can have with the transformations. So, yeah, Wendy, along with Natsu and Gargiel, and also Sting and Rogue, who are also in this game, like, they're, in the series, in the anime, they're, wizards called Dragon Slayers, meaning they have essentially power that they gain from dragons, which just makes them ridiculously powerful. And as they progress through the series, they gain special transformations that make them even more powerful. The main one is Dragon Force, which I can show off for Wendy here. Yep, so a hair color change, and also a complete change in the appearance of her hair, and she also gains wings on her back and a special kind of aura that adds to her appearance. So yeah, Wendy is essentially what you would I would probably, in my game idea, she'd probably be considered a mix-up character, because she's a kind of sky magic user, so she has access to a lot of wind-based attacks, and she's also one of the smaller characters in the series. So she'd probably be, and because she can also like float around all over the place, she'd be extremely mobile. And yeah, wind is a seriously powerful kind of ability to have. So she'd essentially be able to dominate the battlefield with quick movements and large-scale attacks. And yeah, you can also see some of the animations in place. Okay, now we're back to Lucy, so I can talk about the puppet playstyle, which, in a bit more detail. So, in addition to Leo the lion, she can also summon pretty much all of the other, kind of zodiac signs as spirits that help her in combat. They included models for the majority of the celestial spirits, but they didn't manage to fit all of them in, which does kind of suck. But they did also include a feature of Lucy's ability set, which is Star Dress, which allows her to kind of apply the powers of one of her celestial spirits to herself and essentially become a temporary wielder of their power. So, and that involves a model change which alters her outfit's appearance. So I'll go ahead and activate Star Shot. Yep, a change in her outfit that grants her the power of the celestial spirit that it belongs to. And with Urza, you'll be able to see her re-equipping powers, which is, like I said, changes her armor and weapons. I'd probably go with Heaven's Wheel Circle Sword for this, so that I can at least like preserve some enemies for the rest of the characters, and also actually show one of her main kind of armor set transformations. And yeah, so Urza would also be classified as a sword wielder, so yeah, that's also gonna come into play with this. Armor set change and a bunch of swords that she can control at will. And with Natsu, I would consider him a rushdown, like, because he tends to have a habit of just charging in and attacking with everything he's got without really considering anything else. Yeah. He also has a rather unique Dragon Slayer ability, which allows him to control 2 elements at once instead of being limited to 1 like everyone else. I think once I get through Gargiel and talking about his playstyle, I'll probably go back to kind of focusing on the main thing that I am doing these videos for, which is focusing on the art style. So I'll go and show what Natsu's capable of, probably. Particle effects. And Gargiel also has a special kind of transformation, because Gargiel also has a similar ability to Natsu, where Natsu can use fire and lightning at the same time, Gargiel can use iron and shadow at the same time. And it does result in a model change, so it causes his hair to kind of flow like that, and also he's able to coat his entire body in iron, making him practically invulnerable to physical attacks. And it also has an effect where it kind of whites out his eyes, making him look a lot more kind of menacing. But this also actually kind of allows you to see a lot of kind of additional line work for details in kind of muscle creases. Like, it's primarily around the eyes, where you can see the lines kind of diverge in between his eyes to kind of give a kind of angry expression on his face. And you can also see some additional kind of shading on his shirt and creases in the jacket he's wearing. So yeah, I'll go ahead and use one of Gargiel's abilities. And I believe like the playstyle that I gave Gargiel was something called Shoto, which is a reference to the kind of traditional fighting style from Street Fighter games, where it's essentially a kind of character that is viable in any situation. They're good at keeping their opponents away, they're good at doing anti-airs, they're good for like, applying pressure. Because I mean, Gargiel pretty much works in every situation because of his iron body armor kind of thing, and also the fact that he's able to essentially transform parts of his body into iron-based weapons. Like where is it? Oh, yeah. So yeah, he's able to like, turn his hands into a massive sword. So yeah, this is a turn-based RPG game, so yeah, that explains how the combat is playing out. But yeah, with Gargiel, he does have a lot of kind of martial arts skills. So he can armor through attacks. He can hit you from a distance. He can knock you out of the sky with an iron sword made out of his hand. And his the shadow elements of his Iron Shadow Dragon mode thing actually kind of make him extremely mobile, because along with Rogue, who also has shadow powers, they're able to actually use their shadows to travel inside the ground. Well, not really inside the ground, inside their shadows, but their shadows move across the ground, so they're essentially able to remove themselves from the battlefield and then reappear wherever they want. So unless their opponent has the same ability, they can essentially make themselves temporarily invulnerable to attacks. And so it can not only work as a kind of evasion tactic, but it can also work for a seriously good mobility. Yeah. Another kind of going back to the art style with this particular outfit for her is that you can actually see a lot of kind of line work for the muscle creases, and like especially around the torso and on the around the elbows on her, and you can also see a lot of line work in her hair to really emphasize the separate strands, and making use of some brighter streaks to kind of show where light is hitting it, and also making sure to kind of maintain the same kind of patterns that were used in the actual anime, especially with the flame kind of pattern on her trousers. I believe I should also be able to show another kind of model alteration with one of her moves. I think I'll go with the Empress. So, a new ultimate outfit where she's able to wield a new weapon type as well. Also, with these kind of close-ups, you can also get a closer look at their details, especially like with like the facial features, like the scale of the eyes and mouths, the line details to show kind of creases around the eyebrows, additional kind of streaks in the hair, and also kind of being able to get a bit of a closer look at the outline feature, which I believe I mentioned before was created through the inverted hull. So I'll go ahead and finish these enemies off, and I'll pretty much kind of end off this playthrough. Also kind of help to have a look at this because it actually shows off all of the characters' moves individually, so it not only can help kind of give an idea of how these characters would play in my game with their movesets, but it can also kind of just give you an idea of the kind of play style that you could expect to experience once these characters are fully built. the whip, which is another one of her kind of special weapons that she has access to. I'll start to kind of go all out now. So that doesn't want to go down. I think I'll quickly just make use of the kind of ultimate move feature of this game, where you can actually get your entire team to just repeatedly attack your opponents one after the other. It'll give you a kind of show of the different animations they have in place, while also being able to show off the recreations of these characters in rapid succession. Also be able to show the unison raid feature. Unison raids are actually an example of a mechanic thing that I'm going to implement hopefully at some point, where two characters are actually able to perform ultimate moves while working together. And yeah, that third character that just appeared, that with the blue hair, that was Levi. She's kind of Gargiel's partner in the series. She's not actually in my team, but as part of this unison raid, she's able to appear and use her ability to produce a kind of energy source that can help Gargiel power up. And with this ultimate magic, you can summon other powerful characters from the guild to help you out in combat. Like with Kana there, she can use her ultimate move to help deal a ton of damage and really kind of save your team if you're in a bind. I'm honestly surprised this big guy's still alive. I think for the sake of time, I will probably end the video here, and that's pretty much covered everything I really wanted to talk about. Any other kind of details about the art style that I may have missed out in this video will most likely still be included in the type-ups that I do in my blog. But yeah, that's pretty much gone over everything I was planning on talking about for this. I will be ending it here.